What's going on, everybody? This is Effort Chung with Iris Diecast, and today I'd like to review this Maisto/Bbburago Jaguar Mark II. Yes, I do own two Jaguar Mark IIs. The green one is made by Maisto. It's an older Thailand product, and the red one is a Bbburago, and it's made in China. Prior to reviewing the car, I thought this would be a pretty good opportunity to talk about some confusions surrounding Maisto and Bbburago. So as of now, Maisto and Bbburago are part of the same toy group, the Meichung group, but things weren't always like that. Bbburago started producing 118 cars much earlier than Maisto. They were the first to offer 118 cars as the main products of their brand. They were leading the industry in the 118 market in the 20th century, and they contributed greatly to the huge popularity and reputation that the 118 scale cars hold today. However, as time passed, new companies joined in the competition, and Bbburago struggled to keep up because their cars were produced in Italy, where labor and therefore the cost was more expensive than places like China and Thailand, where other companies produced their cars. Maisto replaced Bbburago as the most popular 118 brand, and a new era of premium, highly detailed models like Auto Art was coming. Then Bbburago lost the Ferrari license to Mattel, and the investment loss there decisively caused Bbburago to go bankrupt in 2005. Eventually, the Meichung Group bought Bbburago in 2007, and Maisto and Bbburago have been part of the same group since then. Nowadays, Bbburago is just another batch of Maisto cars. There's hardly any quality difference, and sometimes Bbburago cars are sold under Maisto boxes, especially in retailers like Sam's Club and Costco. I own a Lamborghini Sian that came in a Maisto box, but that doesn't change the manufacturer. The Sian still has the Bbburago name in the undercarriage, so if you buy a Ferrari, a Bugatti, a Lamborghini Sian, and other cars that are being produced as Bbburago products in a Maisto box, then no, you did not buy a Maisto car. It's still a Bbburago. And you can see for yourself by checking the brand name in the undercarriage. But sometimes Maisto and Bbburago offer the same type of car under a different brand name. There are quite a few of them: the Ferrari F50, the Chrysler Crossfire, Mini Cooper, Range Rover Sport, Lamborghini Gallardo Spider, Corvette C5, and so on. Most of those cars are different models from when they were separate brands, so basically they are models that have been in production prior to 2005. In such cases, the differences between their products are oftentimes apparent, like the Viper SRT10 and the Corvette C5. Sometimes, though, they are just rebadged castings, like this one, the Jaguar Mark II. This was originally a Maisto design, but after they merged, they stopped making this car under the Maisto brand and started producing it in the Bbburago brand. Of course, the detail and the quality on the two cars are nearly identical. After all, it is just a rebadged casting. I'm not entirely sure why they did this, but here is my guess. So while Maisto does produce a wide variety of cars, a lot of their produce is American and German cars, while Bbburago mostly produces European cars. As of August 2021, Maisto has 56 cars listed on their catalog. Of course, some of them are just cars with trim differences, but out of those 56 cars, all of them are American or German, with the exception of 6 Lamborghinis and a Datsun. On the other hand, Bbburago has 13 non-Ferrari cars on their catalog, and of course a small batch of Ferraris, and all of them are European. So I think it's just kind of a brand image marketing thing, especially since they decided to keep the Bbburago brand name instead of just incorporating everything into Maisto. So, they may well take its former Italian feeling you get with Bbburago cars. So yeah, this Mark II was rebadged from Maisto to Bburago, and of course, there are contrary cases. For example, the Chrysler Crossfire. I mean, that was originally a Bburago product, but they rebadged it to a Maisto after they merged. You can tell these rebadged products apart because they didn't really change the casting. For example, the Bburago Mark II here still has working suspension, like Maisto cars do. And while original Burago designs don't come with working suspension to this date, and same for the Crossfire, it doesn't have a suspension at all, while Maistos do. Now, there are some unexplainable exceptions, like the Range Rover Sport, the Gallardo Spider, and the Mini. All of those cars are discontinued from Maisto as of now, but just a few years back, they did produce them under both Maisto and Bburago name. I only own them in a Maisto version, so I'm not really sure if they're different or identical or not, but they do seem to be identical in terms of quality, and I think that they are just simply color variations, so they're probably just rebadged Maisto castings. So hopefully that explained why Maisto and Bburago produced the same models. To sum up, it may be different models from when they were separate brands. They may be rebadged castings or just the Burago in a Maisto box. So now let's take a look at the car itself. So the Jaguar Mark II, it's probably one of the earliest and original sports sedan, and it's a pretty iconic car. The design was just shocking back in 1959. It was sleek, elegant, and even graceful. Being a older Maisto casting, the pegs are pretty apparent on all of the lamps, both the fog lamps and the headlamps here. Everything is chrome like the real cars, from the bumpers, the grills, the headlamp edges, and the Jaguar logo and everything. The grills are open on the car, which is pretty nice, but the quality and the finish on the chrome with the grills, it's not really perfect. And while this car does look really good for a car in its age, it's a really nice classic, but looking at it from this angle, it kind of looks like a bug, you know, with the multiple circle lamps and all that. And Maisto cars have a rather thick paint job, and while it does help from constant scratches from fingernails, it does cover up the body lines a bit. It does cover up the body lines a bit. As you can see here, it kind of covers the line. The chrome gives a nice little emphasis on the car, especially since this is a classic, and the body lines are quite simple. But you know, with Maisto's chrome quality, you do need to be pretty careful about it. Of course, this is a cheaper budget model, and it's an older design too, so it isn't really all that high quality. For example, can't get a good view of it because it gets blurry, but the Jaguar logo looks nothing like a Jaguar. Still trying to get a view of it. Yeah, it looks nothing like a Jaguar. It's just crooked chrome, and as you can see here, the grill is not attached perfectly to the car. There's a pretty noticeable gap between the body and the grill, so this car does lack some quality, you know, in terms of finishing. One thing I was really disappointed with the car was the missing side mirrors. They're supposed to be here, but they are missing. I don't really know what Maisto was thinking about that. They didn't delete the wipers though, so this car does have chrome wipers and chrome window edges, like I mentioned earlier. Being an older Maisto casting, they really did put a lot of effort into the engine room. It's high quality, and you can all see all these different parts that went into it. This is as good as it can get with budget cars. You can see the entire engine because this is a classic, and therefore no engine covers, no hood covers. This car uses a 3.8 liter inline 6 from the XK series, and combined with a 3-speed, it produces 220 horsepower and an incredible top speed of over 200 kilometers per hour, and 0 to 100 in just 8.5 seconds. And coming from a 60-year-old sedan, that's fast, and it's like the dream icon, and it's like the standard of what a Jaguar is supposed to be. So let's move on to the side. Jaguar really killed it with the body lines back in the 50s and 60s. It's really sleek yet sporty. Again, a lot of chrome used on the car, the window edges, door handles, the rims, and of course the rims. This car uses chrome wire rims, like a lot of the Jaguars from that age, and Maisto actually did a really good job on it. The wires are done really nicely, and it's very thin. It's really quite nice. It's a rather difficult rim to express on the model cars, but they did a really nice job on it. Again, you can see what I mean with the thick paint job. You can see that the gas cap and the body lines here, they're hardly visible because of the thick paint. This is probably one of the fewer Maisto castings that offer opening rear doors. Unfortunately, the opening angle for the doors is not, very good. It's a common problem found on Maisto cars, so it's really hard to get a good view in there. But once you're inside, what I really liked about the interior was this wood trim. You can see that they did their best to express the texture of the wood. It's really sweet. And I think that it made the interior look a lot more upscale and premium than it really is. They did an okay job with the steering wheel and the dashboard. The center panel is bare, but they do have these little chrome parts for the parking brake, the gears, and the little net on the center, so that's pretty sweet. The interior is pretty simple, like most classics, but I think it's done rather nicely. Here is the rear interior. Nothing much to see in there. It's a classic, and of course, being a budget model, the seats look very cheap. The plastic quality on all of that is not very good. And here is the rear. Again, chrome everywhere. They printed the Jaguar logo, the Mark II logo, and everything onto the car. Plastic lamps for the plastic parts for the lamps, although it kind of looks, I don't know how to say it, Lego-ish in my opinion. It doesn't look very durable in terms of quality. And here is the trunk. It's pretty spacious. It's done in the interior color, and of course it's pretty simple. Nothing much to see in there. And here is the undercarriage. It's pretty well detailed. You can see the engine from down here, and like I said earlier, since this is a rebadged Maisto casting, it does offer working suspension. Over here you can see the springs slightly. It does have working suspension. So that's it, my review on the 118 Maisto/Bburago Jaguar Mark II. It's a fine model. Nothing too special in terms of quality, it's just what you expect from a Maisto and Bburago car. The merits of this car will be the well-detailed engine, fully opening parts, low price, and great availability. The weaknesses would be the poor plastic parts quality and the missing side mirrors. I really don't have a reason to have both of these cars. I mean, it's a cool car, but I don't really have room for any more cars. I mean, I have over 150 or 118 cars now, so I'll probably just sell off the red one because I think the green one, I don't know, just fits more with the English thing. I mean, the English with the English racing green, all that. I think English cars look really good in green, so I might just keep the Maisto version. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please consider clicking like and subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you guys soon in a future video. Thank you.